Hi, I'm attorney Gregory Dell, and I'm here with attorney Cesar Gavidia. And Cesar, I'm glad to be here with you to discuss one of your successful appeals that you recently won against New York Life Disability Insurance Company, which was formerly Cigna. So if during this video you accidentally say Cigna versus New York Life because it's a relatively new transition that took place, that's why people shouldn't be confused. But in this video, I want to talk about what the background of this case was, what you were able to do for this client, because there's a lot of people out there who are in a similar situation looking for help and want to learn about what they can do, what their options are, and how you were able to have success for this particular client against New York Life. So what was the background of your particular case?
So our client came to us after Cigna New York Life had denied his disability claim, actually had terminated his disability claim. It's not too uncommon to get people who call us who've been paid for some time and then they've encountered some sort of interruption of benefits with Cigna. That's really, really common. And he was a senior project manager for his company in Miami, and he left work due to some pretty severe and significant mental health related issues initially, along with some pretty significant chronic migraine disorder problem that he had. And when Cigna approved his claim, and this is very common with Cigna in particular, is that they don't exactly tell you what they're approving you for. Even if you've completed your initial claim application, or your doctors have completed their forms that they're doing every month, and they're, expressing or providing or stating in those forms that you're disabled from depression, anxiety, migraine disorder, and anything else, Cigna's going to focus in on what they want. In this particular case, and in most cases, they love to focus in on the mental health related issues. And the reason they do that is because most of these group disability plans contain a limitation clause in the policy that states that their benefits won't be paid longer than 24 months if the disability is caused or contributed to by a mental illness. So, in mental illness, they define usually as anything that appears in the most recent DSM, the Diagnostic Statistical Manual that contains all these mental health and psychiatric disorders in there. And so that's basically, as soon as the 24 months was up, that's what they used as their basis to terminate the claim. They said, you've reached your 24-month limitation, we're not paying you any longer. And in the meantime, they completely ignored the fact that he continued to suffer and struggle with this chronic migraine disorder.
And is a migraine disorder a physical condition or a mental nervous condition?
No, it's very much a physical condition. And look, migraines and a migraine disorder isn't always something that might appear on some sort of brain MRI or a PET scan, or there may not be any, physical abnormality to the person that is the cause of these migraines. It's just something that occurs. And that's what was happening in his particular case. This was not being caused by some sort of anatomical abnormality in his brain or anything else. It was something that millions and millions of people suffer from, which is chronic migraine.
So this sounds like a very difficult claim because you had the 24-month mental nervous limitation, which they didn't dispute, and you had the physical nature of chronic migraines, which are subjective in nature, meaning, like you were saying, there's no machine that's going to confirm or not whether or not you have migraines, certainly unless you have an MRI and you have a tumor in your brain or something like that. But for the most part, migraines are not, cannot be confirmed by diagnostic testing. That's a known fact. Disability carriers know that. So what did you do in your appeal to be able to convince New York Life that your claimant was disabled due to the migraines and eligible for benefits?
So in his particular case, we were very lucky because he had a very extensive treatment history. And the documentation, which we always say is the medical records, which are the foundation of your disability claim, were extensive. It was really well documented. He was treating with his doctors very frequently. They had treatment plans for him. He was on schedule with his medications. He wasn't missing any of his appointments. And he had a long history of this. I mean, you could see by reviewing these records and by highlighting these points that he indeed was suffering with this issue. Now, that's not always the case. You don't always have such a well-documented medical history, particularly with something like these migraine disorders. Some people just sit at home, they take their medicine, and they struggle with these things, as they occur month to month. But he was going in, he was seeing these doctors. In the absence of that, what we usually tell people is keep a log. He wasn't doing that before, but at least his medical records were showing that he was going in, reporting the frequency of these migraines, how intense they were, and the doctors were doing something about them.
Can you clarify what constitutes well-documented evidence of a migraine disorder?
There's not any necessarily hard and fast rules on it. I would recommend that my clients, at least see their doctors. If they could see them on a monthly basis, that would be great. But we understand, look, that's not always the case. The doctors may not even ask you to come see them that frequently. They may say, come back after 2 or 3 months. But keeping this frequent schedule with them, on pace with a 2 to 3 month time between your visits, is going to at least keep you within a kind of safe zone.
Right, and I know this client also was getting the regular Botox injections in his head for the headaches, which is one of the most common treatments, and really had some days where he had to go to the ER because of excruciating pain, and then had to get a morphine drip or something in the hospital. So having that kind of history shows that it's chronic in nature. And the problem with migraines is that there's triggers. It's well known with migraines that there's triggers for these particular things, and you have to try to avoid those types of activities, which certainly can be stress in the workplace, lights from different environments.
Computer screens.
Yeah.
Computer screens are notorious for causing these things and exacerbating them as well.
And then there's different stages of the migraine, meaning some last for 4 hours, some can last as long as 72 hours. And I know this client was having all types of different episodes and multiple situations that were happening, and there's no way that any employer could hire a claimant who can't commit to working a regular schedule of 40 hours a week. So I know that was a big part of what we presented, and you worked very closely with his treating neurologists to get the kind of documentation and support in the custom attending physician statement, which in New York Life, there's no claimant statement they ever provide to the doctor that's specific to migraines and asks all of these questions. Basically, the New York Life thing that they sent to this doctor, which helped result in the denial, was basically, how long can he sit, stand, walk, bend, lift, climb a ladder? What does that have to do with a person who's suffering with migraines? Because our client was able to sit, stand, and walk
probably, if you're limited to that, they'll say, don't climb ladders or something. But you're right. Yeah, they're not exactly customized and tuned into the specific, in this case, issue involving these chronic migraines. They're not tuned into that.
Which gets into the cognitive nature of the job, meaning your job, Cesar, as an attorney, is if your job was only to sit in the chair all day, why'd you go to law school? Why'd you train all these years? You have to have a cognitive element to the job, the ability to think clearly, multitask, organize, handle multiple. This was a project manager. How many people was this person supervising?
Supervising, conducting meetings. So, it's these types of things, and being able to really perform these duties effectively and with some, reliability and consistency. Because if he's having, with the migraines as frequently and as often as he was having them, is he canceling meetings, 2-3 times a week? He's not able to be, like you said, be managing the personnel under him. And taking frequent time off of work.
And the challenge for this particular claimant and all of our claimants with migraine disorders is that they have a kind of what I say, their condition wax and wanes. They have good days and bad days. And they could go 3-4 days in a row where they're out having the time of their lives. They can go to a ball game maybe, or go to a family event, go out to dinner. They'll be seen on video and they look fine. But you don't know what's going on the next 2 days or next week when they get into an episode. And that's just the thing that people with migraines have to understand. They can still live their life, but be honest about what's going on. Don't necessarily report something that's every day, 24 hours a day, because it's not usually that way with a migraine disorder, unless it happens to you like that. But in reality, hopefully, someone with a migraine disorder has some kind of the condition under control to a certain extent, and they learn what their triggers are going to be. And most people with the migraines aren't able to necessarily go to these parties, events, and do those things because it triggers their migraines. So what we recommend people do is if you have a migraine disorder or any claim whatsoever with New York Life or Cigna, feel free to reach out to Cesar or myself. We would immediately review your denial letter, your policy, no matter what stage you're at with your claim. We'll provide you with a free consultation, and within 15 minutes of being on the phone, we'll let you know immediately how we can help you, what it's going to cost you, what your options are, and most importantly, what your chances of success are to make sure your benefits continue or get you back on claim. Thank you for considering us, and we look forward to helping you in the future. Hi, I'm Gregory Dell, the managing attorney of Dell Disability Lawyers, and I hope you find the video you just watched helpful. We put these videos out all of the time, and we'd love if you would subscribe to our YouTube channel. Beyond our videos on our YouTube channel, we also have lots of information available on our website at diattorney.com, and we encourage you to come to our website. The goal is that we want you to be educated about the disability insurance process, and when you get to our website, you'll see that we have information all about your specific disability insurance company, your occupation, and your medical condition. And we've designed our website such that you can easily search our website to find things that you may specifically be looking for. Now, at our website, we have thousands and thousands of pages of information, hundreds of videos that you can search, plus we're building a section of reviews of all the disability insurance companies, and we have the Ask Our Lawyer section where you can go ahead and ask us any questions that you may have. Now, we realize that you may not need us right now, but you may need us in the future to help you with your disability claim, and we think one of the best ways to keep in touch is by clicking the button below and subscribing to our channel. And most importantly, again, no matter where you live in the country, we're always available. Just go ahead and give us a call. We're happy to discuss your claim and let you know immediately if we can help you.